Hello, brothers and sisters. I'm Ed Hill, International President of the IBEW. We need to talk a minute about a piece of legislation now before the United States Congress that will have an impact on your ability to earn a decent living, save for the future, and protect your family. The bill is called the Employee Free Choice Act, and passing that bill is the highest priority of the labor movement, including our union, the IBEW. Let's go back a year to 2008. Our union pulled out all the stops to elect a president, a vice president, and a Congress was on our side for a change. We did this because the wealthiest and most powerful players dominated our national economy for much too long. Executive pay rose to astronomical levels, even as companies were failing. At the same time, the earning power of the average American fell steadily. It's no coincidence that the declining standard of living for hardworking Americans happened at the same time that the numbers of workers in unions were shrinking. The mess we're in today is proof of the damage that's done when one side has all the power. It's time to restore the balance in America. If things are truly going to be different, then working people need more influence over their lives. We must work with those we help elect to public office to make that happen. The Employee Free Choice Act is the key. What does the Act do? Basically, three things. One, it streamlines the process of organizing. The Act provides that if a majority of workers in a unit sign authorization cards seeking union representation, then the workers, at their choice, can gain union representation without an election. Right now, the employer has the sole power to demand an election or to recognize the union through card check. It's their choice. This has been the most discussed and misrepresented provision of the proposed legislation. Labor seeks this change because far too many employers have subverted the intention of the original National Labor Relations Act by dragging out the election process and using the time to hire union-busting law firms, hold captive employee meetings on company time to intimidate workers, and in general make a mockery out of the so-called workplace democracy. The same people who are crying loudest over the secret ballot are the same ones who have ignored your rights when you elected to have a union, abusing the system for decades, and do all that they can to deny your rights. We want to put the choice back in the hands of those who seek, want, and deserve union representation. And by the way, don't be fooled by the outright lies and distortions being spread by our big spending opponents. This act has nothing to do with your right to a secret ballot in your union election at either the local or the international level. These rights are enshrined in the IBEW Constitution and bylaws and are sacred to all of us. 2. The Employee Free Choice Act provides mediation and arbitration for first contract disputes. This is what our opponents really fear, but they have no rational argument against it. Again, this provision is a response to decades of abuse by too many employers. The IBEW has won many elections in recent years, even under the burdens of the present law. But getting employers to bargain in good faith has been the real obstacle to workers getting the contracts that they deserve. The law takes away the right of one side to disrupt the process through stonewalling or foot dragging. 3. The Act establishes stronger penalties for violation of employee rights during organizing campaigns. Most of you are working in units where the union already exists, so you haven't had the first-hand experience of the corporate tactics of the 21st century. But some of your brothers and sisters have, and believe me, it isn't pretty. Did you know that a worker who takes a visible role in an organizing campaign stands 1 in 4 chance of being fired simply for exercising his or her right? That's illegal, of course, but most workers can't hold out long enough while the case drags on through the process. And even if the worker wins, the employer pays a minimal fine and is told not to do it again. The Employee Free Choice Act puts real teeth in the enforcement of workers' rights, a change that is long overdue. Some of you watching might be thinking that doesn't apply to you since you're already in a union and have a contract. Think again. The IBEW has been successful in its 118 years of existence because we've been able to establish a strong presence in the major industries we represent. With a greater percentage of the workforce in a given occupation or industry in a union, all of the workers have a stronger voice and a more powerful bargaining position. Your union also gives you a stronger voice in the political process, influencing legislation for the common good and electing public officials concerned with the issues of working people. But when union density drops, so too does our ability to set the wage and benefit standards in an industry. This weakens our position and allows a corporation to isolate its unionized segment, forcing them to take more and more concessions or simply moving their work to non-union or foreign locations. They've done this over and over again, resulting in the decline of the living standards across our great country, has been one of the great tragedies of the modern America. You know, President Obama is working hard to restore a strong national economy that works for all. But there's only so much any president can do. We must rebuild our economy from the ground up, and the best way to do that is to make sure that there's a balance between management and labor. Cooperation and partnerships work, as we've proven time and time again. But they can only work when both sides approach the table from a position of mutual strength and respect. That's what's missing in the American equation today, and that's what we must get back. And that's why we're fighting to pass the Employee Free Choice Act. This is a crucial moment in our history and of our country and of our labor movement. And when the history of this act is written, don't let it be said that you are standing on the sidelines. I'm asking each of you to work through your local union to help pass the Employee Free Choice Act. Your future as an individual worker and our collective future as a trade union are at stake. Thank you for all you've done and all that you will do. Together we'll climb this mountain and plant the flag of victory for all working Americans.